Welcome to the Bourbon Van. I'm Phil.
I'm Julie. Today we're going to talk about our favorite Irish whiskeys from our time in Ireland. We tried a lot.
We tried a lot of whiskey.
Let's start with that. We drink a lot of whiskey while we're here.
And also we want to preface this by saying this is not a complete list of all the whiskeys in Ireland. We haven't tried everything. These are just the whiskeys that appealed to us.
Yeah.
And we're going to do them as a top 10 list, but really there's a lot more than 10 here, as you'll see.
Some of these we only tried one time. Some of them we tried multiple times because we liked them so much. So these are just a top list of the ones that we tried while we were here that we really liked and we think you should know about.
By the way, we're in Marion Square Park where the Oscar Wilde statue is.
It is lovely. It's a beautiful park.
Great park, great statue. So you're going to hear some kids and some screaming around here, but we're going to talk whiskey anyways. Let's get to it with our honorable mention.
I don't actually know what that is. So we can't talk Irish whiskey without mentioning Jameson.
Yeah, and this is not, it's not our favorite whiskey. It's not the best whiskey in the world,
No.
but you find it everywhere. It's recommended to you everywhere. And quite honestly, we did try several varieties of it, and regular Jameson
Was where it's at.
just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people recommended the Jameson Black Barrel to us, and it's good. But honestly, for the money, for the availability, for everything that goes into it, our honorable mention and 11th technically on this list goes to Jameson.
So number 10 on our list, Teeling Single Malt. This is the first time I've had this.
Yeah, Teeling Single Malt, and we're going to say that about a lot of these. And
Yeah.
we wrote some tasting notes. I'm not going to remember all of these. But I said about this one, exceedingly tasty with a bit of earthiness, sweetness, and Julie suggested that it had a bit of spice that helps to balance everything out. And we keep going back to that with Irish whiskey. When there's a little bit of bite, a little bit of spice, we tend to like it better because otherwise you can just get too much sweetness. So we're going to talk balance a lot on this list, I think.
Oh man. And number 9, Tullamore 12. I had this just at a random stopover, decided to pick it off the shelf. I liked it.
Yeah, honestly, we didn't expect much. You see
Yeah.
Tullamore Dew all over in the States. We thought we'd give it a go. This was the Tullamore Dew 12-year. We also tried a 14-year, which was
The 14 was great too.
a little pricier,
Yeah.
but both were fantastic. It's a brand we never really have tried in America at all, but we know it's around. And now we have the impetus to go look out for more of those bottles and check more of that brand out.
I feel like it's something that's going to be on our shelf when we get home. So next up on the list is something I had never heard of, Writer's Tears Double Oak.
Writer's Tears Double Oak, actually tried it on the very first day we
Very
arrived
first
here.
day.
It was recommended to us almost immediately at the best whiskey bar we found here in Dublin called Whiskey Palace.
Yes.
And go to the upstairs bar. They have an unbelievable whiskey list,
Super
fantastic
fun.
prices. They treat us like family. Well, a family of whiskey drinkers, basically. I tend to like oak forward whiskeys a lot, and this was aged in French oak and American oak, and so you get a nice complexity there. Writer's Tears, we've been recommended this one a lot in our travels. Very much worth it. Very good whiskey.
Number 7 on our list is West Cork, and I was actually recommended this because it was like the end of the night. I didn't want to spend a lot of money, and I was like, just give me something delicious that I should try that I haven't tried, and they recommended West Cork, and I thought it was great.
West Cork, we've tried 4 or 5 varieties now. We've never tried that brand before, never seen it before.
Yeah.
But every time we try it, we're surprised by how good it is, and especially for the money, really affordable whiskey, and we don't know much about the brand other than we just have never ever seen it in America, and hopefully we can find it soon in our neck of the woods because it's very, very good whiskey. All the varieties are great, and keep doing what you're doing, West Cork. Well done.
We did try to stop by the distillery, but they were only doing tastings on Saturday, so next time.
Next time.
I'm gonna let Phil take the next one because these weren't my favorites, but they totally up his alley.
Yeah, absolutely up my alley. This is at number 6. I'm listing all my peated flavors.
I know.
I just liked all these whiskeys a lot, and 2 of them brand new to us. Dunville's Belfast 3 Crowns was great. Michael Inverin was great, and Connemara 12. The Connemara regular whiskey is the only one that we'd ever tried before. The 12 was new to us. Candy-tastic, that one. It was so sweet, so good. But the other ones, as we were traveling around, we said, give us something local, and those were the recommendations. So obviously peated whiskey alive and well here in Ireland, and we're happy to see it. At least we, the royal we, is happy to see it.
I'm saving a little bit of my peated drinks for Scotland.
Yeah, we're going to Scotland next. We'll see how that plays out for Julie. But yeah, the Michael, the Dunville's Belfast 3 Crowns, and the Connemara 12, the best peated whiskeys we've tried while we're here. Obviously, there are a lot of good peated whiskeys that are well aged and higher proofed and all that. These were the ones that were in our price wheelhouse that were recommended to us, and we found again, the Royal We, found them to be very tasty and satisfying for the price. Absolutely enjoyed peated Irish whiskey here in Ireland.
All right, now we're getting into the heavy hitters. Coming in at number 5, Napogue Castle 14.
And we don't even know if we're saying that
Nope,
right.
I have no idea.
It was recommended to us by a very old man in Killarney, Ireland. And how do you say no to an old timer telling you which whiskey to try?
Yeah, you don't.
And it was very, very good. We said about this one that it was flavorful with a nice bite that you don't always experience on Irish whiskey. There it is again, talking about the bite. And at 14 years aged, it really came through with a ton of satisfying flavors. Absolutely delicious whiskey, and one that, again, I've never seen it before, but
Never heard of it?
He talked about the line like it was all this well-known, fantastic,
Yeah.
amazing whiskey that apparently is owned by an American or something like that. We don't know much about it other than
Yeah.
the old timer liked it, and so did we.
Yeah. Coming in at number 4, the Irishman Cask Strength. And actually, right before we recorded this video, we went to the Whiskey Museum and they had the 17. So we tried that too.
The 17 actually very, very good, but the Irishman Cask Strength, another locals recommendation, absolutely delicious, huge flavors, really unexpected too. The price was right. Solid whiskey, the mouthfeel, it coated, the finish lasted forever. The Irishman Cask Strength, there's not a ton of Cask Strength stuff around, or at least not a ton that we've tried.
Right.
That one is very, very good. Highly recommended. And again, a brand we've never tried before. Both the Cask Strength and the 17, absolutely delicious.
And I found that really interesting. I think we're so used to having things 100 proof plus, cask strength, in the States, and most everything here is in that 80, 90 proof. So once you get something that's cask strength, you gotta try it.
Yeah, we tried a lot of 92 proof whiskey.
So we can't talk Irish whiskey without the final 3. At number 3, coming in, the Spots.
The Spots line, boy, this is a well-regarded line
Yeah.
everywhere we go. In America, in Ireland, everybody is recommending these. The green and the yellow in particular have been very, very popular here. And the green is so cheap. It's so affordable. And honestly, the yellow is too. Both of them are under $10 everywhere we go, and usually $5 to $7. So
I will say that, Ireland, your whiskey prices are crazy. The same
Very
thing
good.
we would get in the States, at least double the price.
yeah, what you would spend on a normal glass of bourbon or any kind of whiskey in the States, you're getting 10, 12, 14 years aged stuff. So Ireland keeping the pricing of their Irish
I
whiskey
love it.
under wraps, and it's very good whiskey to boot. But yeah, the yellow spot, the green spot, and at some point today, I think we're going to go check out that gold spot, the new one that was just released. A lot of big talk around it. People are enjoying it very much, so we're going to have to check that out too.
It's our last night here, so we saved just a little bit something special for the end. Oh, we're saving the best for last, maybe?
We'll see. Our first try of gold spot. 102.8 proof, 9 years aged. That's good. Is it the best thing you've had?
This is really good.
Yeah.
So number 2 for me could actually be in the number 1 spot.
Yeah.
But it's a number 2.
It's a number 2, yeah. And this brand, this is actually 2 bottles from one brand that we've found everywhere, and we've loved it, and it's been very satisfying, very enjoyable for the price. It's Powers, and we didn't expect to like the Powers stuff so much, even though we've had a lot of recommendations for certain bottles from the brand. In this case, it's 3 Swallows, which is sort of the lower bottle, I think, in the hierarchy. Sometimes it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
And the John's Lane, and the John's Lane has been an all-star.
I think I've had John's Lane more than anything else our entire trip.
I would agree with that. Yeah, at the end of the night, when we're not sure what to get, we don't see a whiskey list anywhere, but that bottle's on the shelf, almost always winds up in our glasses, and it's fantastic. It's
Yeah.
easy to sip, it's flavorful, it has a bite, it's satisfying. And when we get back to America, if we can find that bottle, it'll have a permanent place on our shelf. It's delicious.
Definitely. So you've probably been waiting for this the entire video. Number 1 on the list, Redbreast.
It's Redbreast, yeah. And there are a couple of really, really good ones, and in fact, the 27 was just released in a cherry red, beautiful bottle that looks great, but it's $65 a pour.
Yeah.
Still haven't decided if we want to go for that one yet, but
We did see it on the shelf, and it is magical looking.
yeah, it looks gorgeous. But there are 2 in particular that we've been in love with since we got here. The Cask Strength, which was actually the first bottle that we tried when we arrived, and then the 15, which I kind of bought it on a whim, just thought, well, we'll see, this should be good. And the flavors were so big that I actually preferred it to the Cask Strength. That does not often happen to me. I'm not a proof hound per se, but the flavors on that 15 were unbelievable. And they're reasonably priced to boot. $10 to $15 is what we've been paying here. Not bad for whiskeys that we just don't see, and they're everywhere. They're all over the place.
Yeah, I agree. Delicious and a solid value.
And as an added treat, now that we've listed all of our whiskeys, Julie picked up a book today with some Irish slang in it, and she's going to just pick a random page and read us something so that we can all learn a little bit about the next time we go to Ireland, how to communicate with the people better. So Julie, if you don't mind, take it away.
I actually just randomly opened this book, and I kind of like what the first one is. So apologies if I say this wrong. Hooly, which is a noun. A raucous celebration involving drinking and singing. Usage. And folks, I'm asked to invite you all to a hooly in Murphy's Pub immediately after Mick's funeral.
Oh. Well, even though that ended with a bit of a dark note, our time in Ireland is coming to an end tonight, and we're going to go out and try some additional whiskeys, and hopefully we don't find anything that's going to upset this list in any way, so we don't have to edit it more, or hopefully we find something amazing. Regardless, we've had a great time here in Ireland. We can't wait to come back already, and from wherever we are.
To wherever you are.
Cheers.
Cheers. Guys, a little addendum here. I realized after we finished recording the video, we didn't talk method and madness.
And now it's been several hours later on a very windy day. You might be able to tell from my hair.
It is very large right now.
Ridiculous. Method and Madness is a fairly new distillery.
Yeah.
They're doing really incredible things, and it definitely hits your palate more than mine, but I was also impressed by it.
Yeah, I think as a predominantly bourbon drinker, sweet flavors, lovely flavors, easy sippable drink. It doesn't really, in my opinion, taste like Irish whiskey, but it is. I think obviously it is, but like those flavors are so bourbon-tastic that I think that they are perfect for the bourbon drinker trying to dip their toes into Irish whiskey.
Yeah, I think that's the idea behind the brand, and it is very good and affordable. Young distillery, affordable whiskey. But they're doing some interesting things. It's a brand we have not seen at all in America, but we expect that there's some around. We know that there's some around. So Method and Madness, if you've seen it but you've been avoiding it, might be a good one to pick up.
And we tried the rye early on. I think maybe like the first day we were here.
It's not a rye. It has
rye in it.
Yeah.
And then tonight we tried the
French chestnut.
French chestnut, that's right.
Spanish oak, French chestnut, they are
delicious.
all delicious. So Method and Madness. Give them
on the list.